Hey guys, welcome to the 11th episode of my devlog, following the progress of creating an indie game, LunaX Engine, which is a top-down shoot-em-up that I'm coding in Swift on top of the SpriteKit and GameplayKit frameworks. Since the last time, I have implemented the logic for in-game items and to upgrade the player's capabilities. Apart from that, I've spent quite some time researching workflows for game VFX, and I have done tons of upgrades to the game controller handling and Zero Remote on the Apple TV. So that's not much to see, it's very under the hood, but yeah, still, it needed to be done. For items, I've implemented the handling to spawn them in the scene and that they can be collected by the player. So to test it out initially, I've added two item types, a bomb item and an upgrade item that the player can pick up along the level. Code-wise, I've implemented this with a protocol, which I call collectable item, and that items adopt that provides the basic handling to detect the collision, removal, and so on. Then I'm adding a class for each item in the game. So I have a bomb item class, for instance, where the actual logic for this item type goes, as well as handling of the visuals. This protocol requires the class to implement the collect method, where the actual logic will go for each item when the player collects it. Then we have upgrades. With items in place, I could implement the logic for player upgrades. Initially, I've added a second weapon type, and that each weapon type has levels. So the upgrade item the player sees cycles between which weapon it upgrades, so the player needs to time the collection of the item to upgrade the weapon of choice. When the player collects an upgrade item, the collect method in the upgrade item calls the player's weapon component to perform the upgrade. The weapon component is new and has the responsibility to track weapon states and upgrades. Moving on, we have the UX. I've done some UX works and added additional info to the HUD. So the HUD now tracks which weapon the player currently has and the current level of that weapon. Going forward, I think I will add so the HUD displays the current level of each possible weapon as well. I'm aiming for 3 weapon types in the final game, so that will make sense for the player to see that at all time. Also, the stock of bombs are now correctly displayed in the HUD, and I'm sort of getting closer to move from UX to UI and to start thinking of what the HUD should actually look like and how this info should be displayed to the player. Also, since the last time, I posted the second and final article on preloading textures with SpriteKit using asynchronous operations and states to reliably load and handle assets in the game, so feel free to check that one out. You can find it in my blog. Then, as I mentioned in the intro, I've started dabbling with VFX workflows. I'm trying to figure out the pipeline where I work in Blender and then translate the effects to SpriteKit using emitters, shaders, and textures. I'm also considering using the scene kit node, so I will need to give this a week or two more of research before I'm there, I guess. But I'm starting to get some mileage out of Blender, and so far the visuals are slowly but steady improving. And it feels nice to be back in the world of 3D a little bit again. I have missed that. Well, that concludes what I've been up to since last time. Over the next period, I will spend some more time on artwork and concepts. For the code base, I will mostly do polishing and pretty up what I have so far in that department. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can check out my blog where I'm writing more in-depth articles with code examples, and you can also follow me or reach out to me on Twitter. Links are in the video description. May the source be with you. Cheers!